So, welcome to this new development update video for Skyborn Chronicles, the indie adventure game I'm currently working on. The last time I made a video was a long time ago, I think about 10 months, and that's because I, of course, am doing this project in my spare time. Had a lot of other stuff to do, but also, yeah, worked on the game in the background and noticed that doing these regular devlogs with a higher, let's say, production value isn't really doable in the spare time. So, yeah, I now have another approach, which I will explain now. As of now, I will do more quicker showcase videos, which just show the things I was working on in the editor, and yeah, without the fancy cuts and intros and stuff, because I think the most important content you guys want to see is the progress of my project and not some amateur editing skills. So yeah, let's do it that way. Okay, so what did I show in the last devlogs? First of all, let me quickly put that here. I made 4 videos until now, and the first explained a bit the whole project, what I'm planning to do, what tools I use, and so on. So if you're interested in the beginning of the project, feel free to watch that video. Then, yeah, in the second one, I talked about how I created an airship. So this is a steampunk themed game which should, of course, have a nice airship which you can also use as a pawn and then fly it around in the world. And yeah, in that devlog, I explain how I built the ship in Blender and then integrated it to Unreal, made it playable, and so on. So in the third video, I continued with more game logic and the main character. So the initial plan was to use the IWALS project, which was some really nice locomotion system at that time. But things have changed a bit, and we have the Lyra project for Unreal Engine 5. So I'm currently using Unreal Engine 5.5. So to sum this up, I scrapped the whole idea explained in that video, started new in the Lyra framework, and now I'm using it, integrated all the other stuff, which I will show later in the video. But you can see here how I was rigging a first version of the main character and so on, which is, I think, quite interesting. Okay, and then based on Lyra, I built a traversal system. Since this should be an adventure game, you should also be able to climb stuff and have gameplay with the environment. So this video showcases that system, which I will then also integrate into the game later. Okay, so now let's talk about the current state of the game. What did I do in the meantime? Well, I'm using Lyra now as mentioned, so you can see here the main menu, which is also altered. We have now a loading screen and a new game screen instead of the experience windows. Yeah. Then I also am using a Metahuman character now, which I can show you. So I built some Metahuman for the project, which is really quite simple, and then imported them to the project. And now here we have our main character, John Farnsworth, which, yeah, it's just a middle-aged guy who goes to his adventure. And yeah, you can see the cloth he uses, so the trousers, shoes, and so on are from the Metahuman itself. And what I built on top of it, and I also showed that in the devlog 3, I think, is this coat, which, yeah, is also animated with cloth physics. Yes, and I can show how this works in a showcase map, which I have to load real quick. So we have other things in this level which I explain in a bit, but as of now I want to show you the character. So now we have that character which can move around, crouch, jump, and yeah, has some nice first version of cloth. I don't think these will be in the final game, but yeah, as of now it's good enough. Oh, and I also use the Ultra Dynamic Sky plugin, which creates these nice clouds, by the way. After the main character was done so far, I then started to build some gameplay systems, which you can also see in that screen. So here the first bar is the Lyra health, and I added this stamina below it. And how that works is this is an ability set which can be used for the stamina, and then if you have abilities like sprinting or attacking, they will deplete that stamina. I can show that now. So if I hold shift, he runs a bit faster. Yeah, and also the stamina gets lower. Another thing is a roll ability. Yeah, it's not that super nice, but I think it's okay for now, and it also uses the stamina and also has a cool down. And all of these things are built with the Unreal Engine ability system, yeah, which is a quite central part of the whole Lyra project. Another thing that I wanted to add is a melee ability. So the Lyra project uses mainly ranged weapons, which I can also show here. I implemented some own ones here, which just use custom models here, and yeah, you can shoot them. You can also get some sound real quick. Yeah, and you can change the weapons, which then has this drawing animation. Yeah. So, and then I added a melee sword, which has also custom animations. You can block attacks by holding right click. Oh, and since I'm using the advanced input system, all these actions also work with a controller or a gamepad, and since Lyra also uses the common UI plugin, all the UI elements also show other icons if you switch to a controller. Yeah. So what the ability, the melee does is, once I activate the ability, it uses a melee trace plugin, which then will activate a trace for the sword blade. And then if you hit something, I apply damage to the target. Yeah, and I can now show that with this custom NPC I made. So this is also a big part I was working on. I took the Lyra bots, which are just, oh no, he's attacking me, or she, and I have to fight her, and you can then block, which also drains stamina. And then if I hit her, yeah, she gets killed and also drops her current equipped weapon. So these NPCs are based on the Lyra bots, and I extended that feature, which I also can show real quick. So I have here all sorts of tests. Here's also a custom NPC, which is just some zombie dude who can follow you and attack you also with a melee attack. But the one I wanted to show you was the Lyra one, which is here, and it has a custom graph, so a behavior tree, and parts of it are still from the Lyra example, but parts of it are extended by me. So basically he follows a patrol route. This is a spline, which you can see here. This is the patrol spline, which is then set here in that custom NPC spawner, which I created following a pretty nice tutorial. And yeah, what it does is follow the patrol route, roam around, and then once he sees or hears a player, he goes into the attacking state, and if he has a melee weapon, he tries to chase you and attack, like we've just seen. And if he has no melee, he tries to find a ranged weapon and shoots you like the normal Lyra bots would also do. After I had finished these rather basic gameplay mechanics, I then started with the first level of the game, which is called Alitor. This is a city located in a desert, and once the level is loaded, I can show you the map. So this is the first level of the game. The player will start here, get an introduction to the story, and then start with the first quests and the whole progression. And yeah, we have this little town here, which currently is a asset from the store, which is called Bazaar, I think. And yeah, I just altered it a bit, moved some stuff around, and also this whole tutorial part here is new. Yeah, but I will alter it a bit more in the future to hit the gameplay better. Yeah, so there we have some custom blinds which create a road, and I also integrated the default water system here. I'm not sure if I will keep it, but maybe. So it's still experimental because it's not finished yet, and I think Epic is not working on it anymore. But yeah, it's okay for now. Yeah, and then some trees, and then so these are just some assets I used here to create a small temple, and then yeah, a small lake here where the player will then have to follow a quest to get a horse and move to some other location and so on. So okay, so since I've now explained most of the stuff in theory, I will now show you how I integrated it all into the game so far and give a quick overview, yeah, of some gameplay, if you want to call it that way. Please keep in mind that all the UI stuff and all the game logic currently is more of a prototype state, and yeah, nothing is finished yet. So let's just start a new game. If the player starts the game, I have a loading screen until the level is loaded with the streaming, and then I show a quick intro sequence. This now has only some placeholder text, which of course I have to change. And after the intro, the first quest is activated. So this means the player has a task now to find a rapier, which is here in the shelf. We have no markers yet. These are, or I have to integrate them, and I will also explain how the whole quest system and the UI works. But okay, now if I walk here, I can take the sword, and then a short line is played, but the player just says to himself, oh, I should go to the market, and now I have the rapier equipped. So if I press the 1 key, I can use it like shown in the interaction map. Okay, and then let's walk to the merchant. So he's back there. And one feature I did not really talk about was the saving and loading. So if I press escape here, I can then save my game. Oh, and I have to hide the UI here if I open the pause menu. And now we can save it. So we can take the left over one here. Okay, and then I will come back to that later. So now if I walk to the merchant, it triggers an interaction. And yeah, we don't have any voice audio yet or any facial animations. I've just seen that with UE 5.5 they added automatic animations from audio, which I have to look into, but now it's just text. And yeah, we can then talk to the merchant, and then he says, oh, there's an amulet, do you want it? And then we can take it. And here's a small bug I have to fix. The dialogue line which was played previously is here played again. But anyways, and now the quest is finished, and we can open the quest log. Yeah, and then we have here the info. Okay, it's done. And yeah, now I would have to add a follow-up quest to progress the story. Okay, one thing I wanted to show was the loading, and as we have previously saved our game in that slot, I can now click load, and then what it does is it reopens the saved level and applies a save state which I've created with the default Unreal Engine save system. And in that state, it also saves the inventory item. So we now have our sword again. And what's nice is that also the quest system has its own save function. So now we're back at the task to talk to the merchant. And now if I do that, then the quest is also finished and we're good to go here. One thing I forgot to mention in the showcase was the quests plugins. So these are plugins from Narrative. I looked at several options, but I found these the cheapest, and for the price, which is quite high, best option. So if you also are looking for a good quest and interaction and map solution, then maybe these are also for you. And I used Narrative Tales for the quests, and this then uses maps for the mini map which we saw, and interaction to interact with chests and interactable objects which I haven't integrated yet, and also inventory. This means that the player then can pick up items, and you can also check if the player has a certain item when completing or checking quests and so on. But yeah, if you want to have more information, you can also check out their YouTube. They have several tutorial videos, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so this was the quick overview of the whole project. I hope you liked what you saw, and I would be happy about some nice or constructive comments. And also, it would help me very much and encourage me to continue with these videos if you would subscribe to the channel. And yeah, then I'll see you in the next one.